He was a businessman. Then he became a president. He lost the presidency. He faced impeachment, investigations, criminal charges, and one of the most divisive periods in modern American politics. For many people, Donald Trump's political story seemed finished. But he didn't disappear. He came back. And in 2024, Donald Trump did something that made history. He returned to the White House. This is the story of how Donald Trump went from a New York real estate businessman to the 45th President of the United States, then lost it all, and eventually returned as the 47th President of the United States. Chapter 1. Before Politics. Long before Washington, Donald Trump was already a household name in America. He built his public image around real estate, luxury buildings, hotels, casinos, and branding. But Trump wasn't just known as a businessman. Millions of Americans knew him from television. He became the host of The Apprentice, where his famous catchphrase helped turn him into a major television celebrity. At that point, few people expected him to become president. Then, in June 2015, Trump announced that he was running for president. He entered a Republican field filled with experienced politicians. But Trump was different. He attacked political insiders, promised tougher immigration policies, criticized trade agreements, and repeatedly told voters that America needed to put its own interests first. His message became simple: make America great again. And surprisingly, it worked. Trump defeated 16 other candidates in the Republican primaries and became the Republican nominee. Chapter 2. The election nobody expected. Then came the 2016 election. Trump faced Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton. The campaign was incredibly intense. Trump's rallies were packed. His supporters believed he was challenging a political establishment that had ignored ordinary Americans. His opponents saw him as dangerous and deeply divisive. Election night became one of the most dramatic nights in modern American politics. When the results came in, Donald Trump had won enough electoral college votes to become president. The businessman from New York was now heading to the White House. On January 20, 2017, Trump was sworn in as the 45th President of the United States. His inaugural message was clear: America first. He promised to reshape immigration, trade, foreign policy, and the American economy. But his presidency would become one of the most controversial in American history. Chapter 3. 4 years of conflict. Trump's presidency was filled with major political battles. His administration pursued stricter immigration policies and renegotiated America's approach to international trade. He also faced fierce opposition from Democrats and parts of the media. In 2019, Trump became the third U.S. president to be impeached by the House of Representatives. He was impeached again in 2021. But impeachment did not remove him from office. Then came 2020. The COVID-19 pandemic transformed America. Businesses closed. Millions of people were affected. And the presidential election became one of the most contentious elections in American history. Trump lost the election to Joe Biden. But he refused to accept the result and continued challenging the election outcome. His presidency came to an end in January 2021. Trump left the White House. But his political movement didn't leave with him. Chapter 4. The Comeback. This is where Trump's story becomes unusual. After leaving office, he remained one of the most influential figures in the Republican Party. Instead of retiring from politics, he continued holding rallies and supporting candidates. Then he announced another presidential campaign. Once again, Trump was running for the White House. But this time, the road was very different. He faced investigations and criminal cases while simultaneously campaigning for president. His political opponents argued that his legal troubles demonstrated why he should not return to power. His supporters argued that the legal cases were politically motivated. The country remained deeply divided. But Trump kept campaigning. And then came November 2024. Trump defeated Democratic nominee Kamala Harris and won another presidential term. After losing the White House in 2020, he had successfully fought his way back. Chapter 5. The Return. On January 20th, 2025, Donald Trump stood once again inside the U.S. Capitol. But this time, he wasn't the 45th president. He was becoming the 47th president of the United States. He became only the second American president in history to serve 2 non-consecutive terms, after Grover Cleveland. In his second inaugural address, Trump again emphasized his America First vision and promised major changes in immigration, government policy, the economy, and America's role in the world. And just like that, the man who had once left the White House was back inside it. Donald Trump's political journey is still one of the most debated stories in modern American history. To his supporters, he represents a political movement that refused to disappear. To his critics, he represents one of the most divisive periods in American politics. But regardless of where someone stands politically, one fact is undeniable. He lost the presidency. He left Washington. He faced enormous political and legal challenges. And yet, he came back. From businessman, to television star, to president, to political outsider, to former president, and finally, back to the White House. Donald Trump's story isn't simply about winning an election. It's about what happened after he lost one. What do you think about Donald Trump's incredible political comeback? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this story, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more American history.